We're about 10 days into the class, and so here are my comments so far. In general, I'm halfway through grading your first assignments. They look pretty good. In general, you know what you're doing. Discussion boards, you have to post 3 times. It says so in the rubrics. Now the thing is, you don't have to write paragraphs and paragraphs, just a couple of sentences and talk to each other. And you need 3 posts for a full score. As this class goes along, I'm going to start grading harder. The first quiz, class average was 65 and the high score was 100. I've decided to curve it. So if you look at the distribution, this is what it looks like. There are 2 humps, one at 55 and one at 75. And then you've got 2 people in the class who really did really well. So what does this distribution mean? The fact that somebody could get 100 means it's manageable. It's not, I've actually had past quizzes where the high score was like 76. But what it means is that somebody can do the entire thing, that a student can solve the entire thing. So it's not like the exam is out of reach. If you do statistical testing, first an F test means were all your answers just random, like you don't know what you're doing, or was there causality to the score? And as it turns out, there's causality. And the reason why is if you look at every question, the highest percentage of answers that students pick are the correct answer. So what this really says is it's not that the questions are undoable. It's a question of stringing together enough right answers. In a t-test, what is there a relationship? And the fact that there is a relationship between the questions you pick and what the correct answer is. And so there is a causality to the exam. Ideally, I like to have my quizzes with an average of 75 to 80. Average came out to be 65, which is a little low. So in general, I'd bump most people up by about 15 points. People at the bottom got more than 15 points. And so class average is 81, which means the class is B-minus centered. That's not outlandish for a course to be B-minus centered. In MIT, all our classes were C-centered. I mean, if you did below average, you were looking at a D. And in terms of the people at the top of the curve, yeah, you only got a couple of points. It kind of, sucks to be you. But anyway, in general, if you got an 80 or higher, I gave those people an A-type grade. And then the middle got B-type grades. And towards the bottom, you got C's. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Now, in terms of approaching the quiz, it's a multiple choice exam. In a multiple choice exam, it's important to play the exam. And so here's a sample from a question that I had in past quizzes. Dr. Michael Crow, not his real name, wrote a policy paper on his view of American universities. He points out that schools such as MIT and Harvard have limited impact because their enrollments are fixed. His vision is to have a university where every department is ranked in the top 25 and online education can expand traditional classroom education. His vision is striving for, and so you have to read every answer. And so what it comes down to is the first thing you should do is first look at the question, because somewhere in the question is a hint that's going to tell you where the right answer is. And this is actually a simulation of making decisions that you're going to have to do once you go out into the industrial world. The first part is the enrollments are fixed. That's the problem he's going to fix. But what does he talk about? He talks about being in the top 25 and online education, so we can reach a whole bunch of people. And so this is a question about richness and reach. The question is, do you understand what richness and reach really means? And so right away, we can eliminate there's always one answer that you could throw out right away that's kind of ridiculous. And so expansion of entrepreneurship. Okay, that can't be right. Now I've just improved my odds to 1 in 3. Superior performance to MIT and Harvard and MIT, yes, because it's addressing that issue. Education anywhere, online, which extends reach, that's true. The Holy Grail, he wants richness and reach. Well, when he talks about his vision, and the original question is, his vision is striving for. So the vision his vision doesn't state that we're just trying to be better than MIT and Harvard. So you can throw out answer B. His vision has two components: to be in the top 25 in online education. So the answer is D. He wants richness and reach. I would consider that to be a medium difficult question. Hans Gruber is arguing with his boss, John McClane, about their product strategy. One point to you if you realize that those are the names from the movie Die Hard. It's kind of funny because in some of these quizzes I get kind of silly, and I guess I was in an action movie mood. But anyway, they sell a system that can plate metal 10 times faster than any other system. They sold 10 systems in the first 10 months, but only 2 systems in the last 10 months. McClane says they need to hire more salesmen. Gruber says a much more effective tactic would be to... Now, the thing I need to look at is the crux to this question is, I sold a system a month in the beginning and then I just died. And this is a technology product. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at the chasm. So right away you need to identify that. So right away I should be thinking about, how do you cross the chasm? And on a slide there are a bunch of different techniques that talks about crossing the chasm. And so make a viral video with puppies to get attention, get a booth at Semicon West to drum up more contacts, offer a 12-month free trial period with technical support. If you like it, you buy it. Convert their online ads to Facebook. So now that I know this is a chasm question, right away I can throw out convert their online ads to Facebook, because there's nothing in the question that says that there's a problem with their online ads. Also, when I look at this question about the chasm, evidently people who've known about my system in the beginning were buying. So it's not about getting attention. So it's not about awareness. So I can throw out A. Now the question is, do I need more promotions, or do I need trial? And so what it comes down to is, what's the better answer? Well, when we're crossing the chasm, what is the crux? What is the concept of the chasm? And the concept of the chasm is your next phase of buyers don't like risk. They don't, the price is a risk. Will the product work as a risk? Everything is about risk. So the issue isn't so much about, now communication is important. When you saturate your original buyers, the question is, how do you touch people? But the bigger issue in the chasm is, how do I get rid of risks so people feel comfortable buying my technology products? This is why Apple blew everybody out of the water, and that's that they made people feel comfortable with their products. Jobs understood that people were inherently scared of technology. And so the best answer is C. And that's that if I offer 12-month trial period with technical support, then they're going to be willing to take a chance, because I've taken that risk away about new technology. And actually in the semiconductor industry, that's how it actually works. Knocking on doors isn't a hard thing to do. The fact that they could get 10 people in the first 10 months means that they could get people's attention. The question has more to do with, you could just knock on more doors, but you're just going to have the same effect. If you're in the chasm, you have to address why you went down. And normally it's not related to reach if you're selling well early on. And so this is what I mean by, when you take these quizzes, you have to be thoughtful. And actually the thing that some people get into trouble with is they start to overthink it. But again, inside the question is the answer that you're looking for.